What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush, Let's Talk Jets Radio. This video has nothing to do with the New York Jets or any kind of football-related content. So if you're looking for that, please check out the rest of our channel. We appreciate all the support and all the views. As some of you guys know, I'm a big mental health advocate, and I like to talk about things that I deal with or things that are going on in the world of mental health, as I think it's becoming very prevalent and very prominent in our society. So we're currently entering the holiday time of year, which is a very festive time, very emotional time for a lot of people. So for people that struggle with depression, anxiety, this could be a very, very difficult time where you kind of feel alone. You kind of feel like you don't share the same emotions as everybody else. And then you can kind of actually you go on social media, you look at things, and you just don't feel like you're in the same space that everybody else is in. And you could really struggle with it and be challenged by it. So what I try to do is I try to figure out different ways to handle it, how to cope with certain, environments or certain feelings. And one of the things I've learned the most is to not compare yourself to others, and not because everybody is in their own situation. Everybody has their own, own problems, own issues, and handles them differently. And you really never know what somebody else is struggling with until you actually ask them or you do whatever. And like it's something, a lot of people that struggle with depression, anxiety, they do a very good job of hiding it and masking it. And you see that all across the road when say a suicide or something really drastic happens. Like I would never have known. Like it could be rock stars or actors or musicians or whatever it is. It happens. It's so sudden. And I've had it happen to friends as well, where they seem like the happiest people that and lo and behold, they're really, really struggling. So from a personal perspective, one of the things I realized is you really can't compare yourself to others because you don't know what they're doing and you don't know where they are in that point in life. And a good analogy I came up with was today. I started running as not a hobby, but just to get out, clear your head. And, you start, obviously over time, you start timing yourself and you're figuring out and you want to see how fast your mile is or your 5 miles or whatever else. And you're having a good day, you're running, you're feeling great, and you realize you're getting your personal best record, your best time you've ever had. And somebody just goes by and just dusts you. They run like you're standing still. And you're like, man, like you think you're making progress, you're feeling good about yourself, and this person just absolutely smoked you. And you're like, you start like, man, am I making any progress? But then if you think about it, step back and think about it, you're like, all right, say if I'm on my 4th mile and they're on their 1st mile, they're going to be a lot fresher, have a lot more endurance. They're going to pass me by because they're in a stronger part of their run. Are they a trained runner? I'm not a trained runner. I kickbox and box. I don't run. I do it for a minor hobby. Is this their hobby where they're better conditioned on? Because this is what they do more often. There's so many different factors that go into it that it's hard to, you really can't compare. It's like really apples and oranges. Like say for example, if they run, that's their hobby, and I'm running, but I have some injuries because I kickbox, I'm gonna be a little hindered. Are they hindered from anything? Probably not. Like it's so many different factors. The other thing I realize is, when you're running, like I have a certain point in my run, I usually run like 5 or 6 miles. When I hit the 3 mile mark, for whatever reason it is, from the 3rd mile to the 4th mile, I can't, it's like my biggest struggle. I don't know what it is. So what I would always be doing, there's a certain mark on the boardwalk that I'd always see it, like this little miniature golf course. I knew whenever I hit it, it's the part where I start grinding, where it's like I just feel tired, I feel exhausted. But then once I get past it, I'm fine. So what I learned was, instead of when I'm running, instead of always trying to look all the way down the boardwalk, I look at more short-term things. I'm looking right in front of me, I'm looking side to side. I'm not focusing on so far down where I have to be. I'm focusing on the shorter area. And it helps me, it gets me by so much quicker, it's so much easier. So the analogy there is, sometimes we get so focused on our long-term goal, we don't appreciate or look at our short-term goals and things we accomplish. The other thing, it's just like, while, you're getting your best run in, you look at where you started at. There was a time where 3 miles was just like an eternity for me. I thought I was going to pass out, and now it's a walk in the park, and now you're getting better times at the 5 and 6 mile mark. So there's a lot of things that we just got to step back and realize. And the first thing is compete against ourselves. Our goal, when we wake up every day, is try to be better every day. Like, just be a better version of yourself each day. And don't worry about what anybody else is doing. You really can't do that because, sorry, I just got back from running and my nose is still running from the cold weather. It's just compete against yourself. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing, and don't worry about trying to impress everybody else. I think a lot of times on social media, you see everybody posting things and you got like, I got to do that and I got to do this. And do what you enjoy what you do, and do it for yourself and compare it to yourself and where you were. I think it's just very, very important to not be so committed or just so focused on what everybody else is doing and how everybody else is accomplishing their goals, and do it. Be your own individual. I think it's really, really important to do that. The other thing is just try to focus on your own happiness too. Like if people are doing certain things that you don't enjoy, then don't, you're not forced to do it. You got to really try to find things that helps you get out of your mood. It's something I talk about often. It's like, it could be your favorite band. It could be working out, being around whatever, building a shed, knitting, playing checkers, whatever it is, playing video games, whatever it is. You just have your little escape from reality where you can just decompress and figure out how to regroup and bounce back. The other thing is, if keep an eye on people around you that try to bring you down or always have a negative feeling or that kind of like toxic attitude where you can recognize it, and don't give it too much strength. Especially on social media. I'm just so against social media these days. I think it's getting more and more toxic every day for a variety of reasons. But, if you find something you enjoy, like you try to share a positive message and somebody's like, well, what about this? What about that? I'm like, it's okay to just be like, say, you know what? Today's a good day. Enjoy it and just leave it at that. You don't need to justify it and explain it and do all kinds of chaos. I mean, a perfect example. I found this crazy, it's called dancecore band. I like heavy metal music or whatever metalcore music. And there's a band out there that's I think it's absolutely hysterical. It's heavy, but it's hysterical. So you post on social media, try to just open eyes, give the band some, just a bigger audience or whatever, give them more attention. And the person's like, oh, but they stole this, and like, who cares? Like, can we just enjoy things? Like, just enjoy things. So if people around you that you feel like if you try to share stories or do things and they kind of like poo-poo it or kind of downgrade it or find reasons to not enjoy it or kind of discount it, then, over time, maybe say, you know what, I don't really value their opinions that much. I'm not going to let it impact me. And maybe you're not around them as often. I've learned over time, over the years, that there were certain people that just it wasn't a productive environment to be in. So slowly but surely, you phase yourself out and say, you know what, I got to find people that I can associate with or people that help me feel better about myself or that things I want to do with them, where you feel good about yourself. A lot of it is just state of mind. Like it's really important to just have those areas where you know that if you do these things around these people, it'll help you. And most importantly, always recognize that you're not alone, especially during this time where it's like you think everybody's too busy or everybody's too caught up with family and friends or everything else. They're not. Help is always a phone call away, a text away, an email. Reach out to therapists. There's online resources. There's hotlines. There's so many things right now to help you get through, whether it's the next hour, the next day, the next week, whatever it is. There's always help, and you're not alone. There are people struggling everywhere. And the really cool thing is there's a lot of prominent people now speaking out about it. Like, I'm a big fan of Killswitch Engage, but they have Jesse Leach has a podcast and a YouTube channel called Stoke the Fire. And they have very open and honest conversations about mental health, depression, anxiety, and they bring on, front men from other bands. They have on, relatives, relationships, and the conversations are deep. And they talk about, they have on singers from bands that have the world in their hand, and they are just talking about depression and giving up and how they cope with it. So you're not alone. It's a lot of people dealing with things, so don't ever give up. There's help there. Just just make the call. Reach out and tell somebody, hey, you know what? I'm not feeling really good, or I'm really feeling down. I feel kind of lost. And the response you're going to get is, you know what? I understand. I've been there before, and I can help you. The response is not going to be what you expect. Everybody's going to be understanding and helpful with it. And if they're not, try somebody else. But you'll be like in this day and age. I think a lot more people now realize that there's people struggling. This world is chaotic. There's so much going on, and it can be nerve-wracking. It can be unsettling, and people find different ways to cope. So if you need to find a different way, ask for help. It's nothing wrong. It's a courageous move to do. It takes a lot of courage to do, but the rewards are keeping you in a better place or getting you in an even better place. So I rambled. This is a really long video. I'm not sure if my analogies made sense. You probably don't care about my running, but it was just kind of things I thought about as I try to figure out ways to cope with certain situations. So have a good day. If you have any thoughts, comments, feel free to share them. This is an open forum, judgment-free zone. The whole goal is to have everybody feel more comfortable talking about mental health issues.